Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to one more installment of the video for the Dimas Wine Shop and Tasting Room. This week is European Royalty, and this is a precursor for our classes that start in September. We have a couple of special guests here, a couple of good relationships that we've established here since the Heidi days with the shop. But to my left here, we have got Ian. Ian is the distributor for the estate group with Young's Market. And to my right, we have got Christoff, who's the importer, who brings in a lot of these wines so that Ian can sell them. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the first wine. All right, guys, so with our first wine, we were tasting these wines before we shot the video, but I love this first wine. This is the Mestizaje is the name of the wine. It's a white blend from Mr. Guayot. This is a 2015. So Mestizaje is the native grape that is primarily used in this wine. What do you guys think?
I think it's tremendous. The first thing that hits me about this is the nose, and I'm told there's only about 20% Viognier in this, but the Viognier just jumps out. I'm smelling that really beautiful bouquet of flowers that you get from Viognier. So.
Exactly. I agree. You get a lot of white peaches notes and white flowers. It's really delicious. Very low in acidity.
Which you made a comment about what food you would pair with that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it reminds me a lot of on the palate to Picpoul de Pinay, which is also a wine very low in acidity, and ironically enough, it's a wine that pairs extremely well with oysters. So I would be interested to sample this while having oysters. I think it would be a very nice combination.
I totally agree with you.
The label jumps out too. I think it's got a tremendous label.
Yeah, this is a new label that just started, and I tell you what, I think they hit a home run with that. So, we're going to get started on the second one.
Perfect.
All right, so we're now going to Trimbach, Pinot Blanc from Alsace. The Pinot Blanc grape, the Pinot Blanc varietal is actually, when it comes to France, predominant in Alsace. It's a very interesting varietal because it is a mutation of the Pinot Gris grape, which also itself is a mutation of the Pinot Noir. So Pinot Noir gave birth to Pinot Gris, who gave birth to Pinot Blanc. You know, that's what happens with vines. It's genetically unstable. What is also very interesting, and that very few people know about Pinot Blanc, especially when it comes from Alsace, I should say, especially when it comes to Alsace, is that it is very seldomly 100% Pinot Blanc. In fact, the Pinot Blanc is almost always blended with another Alsatian grape called the Auxerrois, which is also of the Pinot family. It's Pinot Auxerrois, is a real technical name. When it comes to Trimbach Pinot Blanc, it's actually dominated by Auxerrois. In fact, I think in the case of this particular one, it's at 80% Pinot Auxerrois and 20% Pinot Blanc. But per regulations in Alsace, it's a very common to call this blend a Pinot Blanc. Why? Because it is basically made with two mutations of Pinot and Blanc because it is white. So it's not referring to the grape in its case, it's actually referring to the type of wine, the name that is. So the Pinot Blanc in Alsace is known as the vin soif. It's a thirst quencher. It's the welcoming wine. It's the aperitif. It's a wine that, you know, when friends comes over and it's before dinner time, you crack a bottle and you have a good time and you get everybody salivated and up, you know, waiting for the food to come. So it's a very convivial varietal. It's dry. It's also got a little bit of apricot peachy notes. It's good acidity. It's absolutely delicious, and it's a very convivial and friendly wine. So we sell a lot of this in restaurants. It pairs extremely well with seafood and white fish.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this wine. I love the acidity. Like good Alsatian wines, you know, they're almost always dry, bone dry.
Oh yes.
Yeah, almost always bone dry. And the only reason I'm saying almost is because there's always somebody out there that does it a little bit differently than you would expect. I don't know of any sweet Alsatian wines.
Well, unless for vendange tardive or late harvest, but they purposely made it to be sweet in that case. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. But just an absolutely beautiful wine, and 16, or they go back to the 1680s?
Oh yes, the Trimbach family is really one of the oldest wine making family in the world. They started making wine in 1626, and we're still working with the. I mean, it's still the descendants.
36 generations, right?
We're on the 14th generation.
14th.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 14
14,
generations.
yeah.
The 15th generation just appeared about 6 months ago. And Trimbach just had a little baby daughter. So, but I just met recently the newest winemaker. He's about 25 years old.
Yes.
And he's number 14 in the generation. So.
Yeah. So great wine, I can't wait for you guys to try this. We're gonna have some other Trimbach wines. I do wanna mention before we continue this video, they are doing construction out here on the front. So if you hear something, it's not us, okay? You're gonna probably hear some hammering and whatever else going on. So can't wait to try the next wine. Next up, we head over to a country that's very near and dear to me. This is the Viña Cotero. This is the 2013 Rioja. It's a crianza. Crianza just means that they need to be aged a minimum of 2 years. Usually 6 months on oak is the minimum requirement. In this case, they did a year on oak, a year in the bottle before it was released. But it's Tempranillo, Graciano, Garnacha. What do you guys think of this one?
So one that's full of joy, very happy, very approachable, very generous. It's definitely delicious. So, I mean, I can't find anything bad to say about this one.
I like the fact that you served it with a little bit of a chill on it. Spanish wine to me, always a little chill on the reds, and then I love to eat with my Spanish wines. It's just the style of the wine just makes you want to eat something. So great little bottle of wine, great price point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys are going to love this wine at the tasting. We'll go to the next. So next off, we go over to Sicily, and Ian, take us away. This is a wine that's very near and dear.
This is 100% Nero de Avola. The name L'amore means love. That's the big love in Sicily. I love this wine. Just a beautiful, beautiful nose. Again, a wine that would be perfect with foods. Sicily is an island. They don't just eat fish. There's a lot of wild boar on the island, and so this is a great meat pairing wine.
Yeah, absolutely delicious. I love the dry fig notes. It's a wine that is dry, a little bit hot. You can tell it's a wine from the south, but very elegant. I mean, it's polished, it's clean.
And layers and layers of
Really,
flavor on
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Every time you come back to that wine, it's saying something else to you, which I really appreciate. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this wine. Thank you. And next up, we've got the DiMaggio Norante. This is a 2012 Cabernet Sauvignon that comes from South Central Italy, which is, in this particular location, it's sandwiched right in between Campania and Abruzzi. But it's 100% Cab. What do you guys think of this wine?
Phenomenal. Extremely well made. I would stack this. I mean, you think Cabernet Sauvignon in Italy, you're thinking, yeah, what are you talking about? But it's so well made, it's so polished, it's so true varietal. I think they found a terroir that is
Ideal for Cabernet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
It's got a lot of grip. I think it really over-delivers for the price.
I would agree with you. And it comes across as an IGT, which I know many of you know what that is, but it's really the most unregulated wines you're going to find in Italy. And I think that they absolutely nailed a home run with this.
If you like a lot of tobacco on your cab, this is a great cab to pick up.
Yeah.
Beautiful fruit notes, absolutely elegant, clean, really beautiful, well made.
Thank you. And last but not least, we go back to France for the Chateau Croix de Pie. And who better to explain this than my French brother, Christoff?
Hello. Well, back to me. Okay, what we have here is a Cahors. Cahors is synonymous to Malbec, pretty much. I exaggerate, but basically Cahors is the birthplace of Malbec. And yes, I understand everyone. Malbec is not from Argentina. Malbec is from Cahors. And in fact,
Good job.
yeah, because here in the United States, very few people know that. But the Malbec originated in the southwest of France, right around Cahors, and made its way through Bourges all the way to Bordeaux, where it became one of the 6 plants that 6 grape that is allowed to be blended and to make a Bordeaux wine. So, but the wines from Cahors and obviously the Malbec, you know, has been growing and exploded and turned into wine since antiquity in the area, and grew in popularity mostly because it was a very, very tannic grape that produced wines that were very prone to aging and to resist change in temperature because they were very robust and alcoholic and tannic. To a point where in medieval time, in medieval Europe, this was the most popular wine. You know, it could easily be put into giant barrels and and trucked its way up, you know, on ox carts all the way throughout Europe. In medieval time, the wines from Cahors was known as le vin noir, which means the black wine, for obvious reason. And Malbec, very tannic, very dark, very robust. You know. So it made wine that would sustain medieval food and would resist fluctuations in temperature. So what we have here is a wine that is obviously made of Malbec. The best wines are made with 100% Malbec. So when you first tasted it, you know, it had a little funk to it, and of course that fades away. It's a wine from the southwest, so it's got a little heat to it, you know. Of course, it's a vin corsé, it's a wine with a lot of structure, which evolves onto beautiful blackberry notes and a little bit of black licorice notes. It's a delicious wine. If you like muscular wines, this is the wine for you. So.
For sure. When we poured this thing, it looked like ink in our glass. It was that dark. And any last closing comments on this?
A little bit of trivia. Cahors, a very beautiful medieval town, and the movie The Lion in Winter was shot back in the 1960s.
Okay.
Yeah.
A fantastic lineup, you guys. Seriously, we have got some real great wines. I was so happy that you guys were able to join us on this video. And make sure you come to European class, because these two gentlemen right here are supplying the majority of those wines. And we went straight to the source. Straight to France on this one.
I drink to that.
Thank you for having us.
Chin chin, cheers.
Cheers.
Prost.
Thank you.
You guys, how cool was that to have Ian and Christoff here? I was so happy, and I almost felt like I needed to get an autograph. But on Saturday, the third Saturday, we've got live music coming up of September, the third Saturday of September. We have Wine Club on September 10th and 11th from 12 to 4, and our European wine classes, which Ian and Christoff and other people are also going to be supplying for that, starts September 19th. So, you know, enjoy this tasting, because I think this is a good precursor to what we have going up in our wine classes. Cheers.